Okay, today we will start with the joints and we will discuss the different types of joints which are joining or holding our skeleton at place. These joints are very much important, and in this we will cover the types of joints, the main synovial joint of the limbs. Hmm, Okay, so this will be covered in this today's topic. So, what is mean by joint? The first thing, how we can uh, define the joint. The joint is the site at which any two or more bones articulates or come together. So this is called joint. That means the two or more bones come together to form or articulate or joins together and forms a joint. So some joints have no movement, that is fibrous joint, and some only have the slight movements, that is cartilaginous joint, and some are freely movable. These are the synovial type of joints. So the articulation of these bones takes place with different purposes, and these purposes give the movement, no movement or slightly movement or freely movable. So this gives the different types of joint. So let us see the types of joints. So first type of joint is the fibrous or fixed joint. So fibrous joint are immovable joints, have fibrous tissue between the bones. Example are joints between the bones of skull. These bones are joined together with no movement is allowed in the joint. So the sutures, which is the joint, is one of the fibrous or fixed type of joint, and it is present in our skull bones like the frontal, parietal, temporal bone, occipital bone. All these are joints with this fibrous type of joints, and these joints are called as sutures, and those between the teeth and the maxilla and mandible. So these are some of the fixed type of joint. So when we see the examples here, when the teeth are fixed into the maxilla, these are not movable. Then the maxilla is not movable. So all these are the fibrous type of joints. So the next type of joint is the cartilaginous or slightly movable joint. So according to their movement, they are also called as the slightly movable joint. So there is a pad of fibrocartilage between the ends of the bone that form the joint, which allows for very slight movement where the pad of cartilaginous joint is compressed. So these joints have a specific type of cartilage which keep the two bones in together. Two bones keep are joined together with this fibrocartilage, and examples are symphysis pubis and joints between the vertebral. We can say the vertebral uh, column, that is the vertebrae of different regions are having these cartilaginous fibrocartilage joints. So symphysis pubis is also one of the cartilaginous joint. Here, you symphysis pubis is nothing but the region between our pelvic girdle, and this gives the slight movement of our hip bones to allow the delivery of a baby, or sometimes other movements. Flexibility of the pelvic girdle is due to this cartilaginous joint. So in females, the symphysis pubis is having a different structure than the male, which is one of the broad structure, and the bones are dilated and having the more movement than the males. The next type of joint is the, here you can see the synovial or freely movable joint. Before that, let us see this diagram. Here you can see this is the suture that is looks like the teaches that we are using the fibrous joint. This is the bones of the skull. So these bones are joined together with these fibrous joints and not movable. So these are called as the fixed joint. These are called as the fixed joints. The next is the cartilaginous joint. So these are the vertebrae of our vertebral column, and between these vertebrae there is a disc of fibrocartilage. This disc of fibrocartilage is called as the intervertebral disc, and these bones are joined together with this fibrocartilage and having a slight movement that is giving the flexibility of our backbone. So this is very important when we are bending, walking, sleeping, sitting. So this movement, these actions are allowed due to this type of joints, the fibrocartilage or cartilaginous joints. So this having a very slight movement, and this disc of fibrocartilage is also act as a cushion between the two bones. What is mean by the cushion? It is preventing the edges of edges these edges erosion by the friction. So this prevents the erosion of these edges of bones by the friction and reduces the friction between these two bones. So this is very important to have the disc of fibrocartilage in the our vertebral column. This disc here, this is the space, and this is the acting as a cushion between these two bones. It acts as a shock absorber also. Let us see the third type, that is the synovial freely movable joint. The third type, the synovial joints are characteristic feature that enables a wide range of movement. Means this synovial joint is a freely movable joint and have various types of movements are allowed to the synovial joints. So these, what are these movements you can see here? They are listed here. The flexion type of movement, it is nothing but the bending, usually forward, backward. Example, knee joint. So you can move your knee joint flexion, then extension, strengthening or bending backward, then abduction, movement away from the midline of the body, then adduction, movement towards the midline of the body, then circumduction, that is the flexion, extension, abduction and adduction. All these are coming together. So this is called as the circumduction. So various joints have the flexion movement to, then extension to, then abduction and adduction. All these movements are allowed. Then rotation, you can see the axis and atlas vertebra, which having the pivotal joint, which is one of the synovial joint, and this gives the rotation movement of our neck so that the movement can rotate in a 360-degree. Then pronation, turning the palm down. Supination, turning the palm hands up. Then inversion, then turning the sole of the foot inward. Eversion, outward. So all these are movements which are possible at the synovial joints. So the joints are classified, synovial joints are classified according to the different movement they have been allowed. So these synovial joints are having presents a wide range of movements to our body, and these joints are again classified according to their movement. So the first synovial joint is the ball and socket joint. So the name itself indicates there is a one space present which is acting as a socket, and the other bone is acting as a ball. So the bone have the ball, and other bone has a socket. So they get fixed together and having that movement that is allowed to ball and socket joint. So here the first type, the ball and socket joint. In this, the head or the ball of one bone articulates with the socket of another bone. So as I have told you that the ball head or the ball of the one bone that is articulates or fixes in the socket of another bone, and the shape of the bones allows for a wide range of movement. Due to this ball and socket joint, the movement is widely free movement is allowed in this ball and socket joint. Those possible are these movements are the flexion, extension, abduction, adduction, rotation, and circumduction. All these are the movements which are allowed to the synovial joint or ball and socket type. So examples of this type of ball and socket joint is the shoulder joint, the hand we can move, flexion, extension, and the hip bone having these joints. The shoulder and hip joints are ball and socket joint. So here you can see the ball and synovial joint structure. First we have to see, then the movement allowed, the flexion, extension, all these movements are allowed to all these types of joints. So here you can see the shoulder joint here. This is acting as a head. This head is fixed in this cavity, that is the sign socket. So this allows the movement, and this is the head of humerus. This is the tendon. This is the capsular ligament, then synovial membrane, then articular cartilage, then glenoid cavity of the scapula, then glenoidal labrum. All these are fixed shown here in this diagram, and these are the joint of the shoulder. So let us see the different types of joints coming under the synovial types. The first we have saw the ball and socket joint. The second is the hinge joint. These allow the movement of flexion and extension only. So hinge joint is one of the type of joint, as the door joint. We can say when we are opening and closing the door, we have allowed a 180-degree movement that is given to the hinge joint. These allow the movements of flexion and extension only. So flexion and extension means towards the body and away from the body. So this is the flexion and extension movement allowed in the hinge joints. These are the elbow, knee, ankle, and the joints between the atlas and the occipital bone, and the interphalangeal joints of the fingers and toes. So these hinge joints are present in the elbow, knee, ankle, and the joints between the atlas and the occipital bone, and the interphalangeal joints of the fingers and toes. So hinge joints are present in all these regions. Here you can see the elbow, knee, ankle, then joints between the atlas and the occipital bone, then the interphalangeal joints of the fingers. Fingers have a hinge joint. You can bend your finger and open it up to 180-degree movement. So all these are the hinge joint. The next is the gliding joints. The gliding joints name itself indicates they have the capacity to glide over each other. So the articular surfaces glide over each other. So the name given gliding joint. Example is the sternoclavicular joint, sternoclavicular joints, myoclavicular joints, and joints between the carpal bone and those between the tarsal bones. So carpal bones are your wrist bones, while the tarsal bones are the ankle bones. Here you are having this gliding type of joints. So carpal bones have this gliding type of joints. Due to this gliding joints and gliding movement, your wrist can be moved and you can move your palm with this gliding joints. All this having the movements of gliding movements. Hmm? The next joint is the pivot joint. As we have discussed, I told you about the pivotal joint between the atlas and the axis. So the movement is round one axis, that is the rotation, means you can see here the your movement of your neck is you can rotate your neck in 360 degree. So this pivot joint gives the movement of 360 rotation, and this is the due to the pivot joint which is present between the axis and the atlas. So the proximal and distal radio ulnar joints and the joint between the atlas and the odontoid process of the axis. So here you can see this is the joint which have the rotation movement. Then the condyloid joint and saddle joint. Condyloid and saddle joint. Saddle is nothing but the, we can say, the place and the arrangement which is made on the back of the horse. So this is the which having the saddle type of structure. So the movements take place around to axis, permitting flexion, extension, abduction, adduction, circumduction. Example, the wrist. Here you can see the wrist have this type of condyloid and saddle joint. Then temporomandibular joint. The temporomandibular joint means in the temporal lobe of your skull and the mandible. Due to this condyloid joint, the movement of your mandible takes place. You can speak and all these things are, you can chew. This movement is due to this condyloid joint. Then the metacarpopharyngeal joint and the metatarsobopharyngeal joint. All these are the condyloid and saddle type of joints. So these are the 5 different types of joints of the synovial joints. The ball and socket joint. The second is the hinge joint, gliding joint, then pivot joint, condyloid joint, and saddle joint. All these are the ball and socket, synovial type of joints. So let us see the next characteristics of synovial joints. Here you can see this is the two bones which are joined together and having this structure. The two bones coming together to form a synovial joint, and this is the synovial membrane, synovial cavity, capsule of the synovial joint, and the edges of these bones which having a covering of articular cartilages. So this gives us special characteristics to the synovial joints. So here you can see this synovial joint have the specific characteristic as synovial cavity, synovial capsule, then articular cartilages and synovial membrane. So this gives a specific characteristics of synovial joint. Let us see these characteristics of synovial joint. All synovial joints have certain characteristics in common. Articular or hyaline cartilage. The one here you can see this is the articular cartilage. Articular cartilage. So this is made up of the hyaline cartilage. The parts of the bones which are in contact are always covered with a hyaline cartilage. The parts of the bones have the hyaline cartilage. Here you can see this is the hyaline cartilage which is present on this bone surfaces. So this covers the cartilages. This is again the hyaline cartilage here inside our synovial cavity. Hmm? It provides a smooth articular surface and is strong enough to absorb compression forces and bear the weight of the body. So this synovial joint have this articular hyaline cartilages, and it provides a smooth articular surface and is having a strong capacity to absorb the compression forces and bear the weight of the body. So this cartilage has a capacity when we are jumping, walking, it has a capacity to prevent the friction between the two bones and the compression between the two bones. All the body weight is beared by this hyaline cartilage, and this is giving the shock absorbing capacity to our joints, synovial joints. Due to this hyaline cartilage, we are able to uh, jump and walk, running, all these things. Otherwise, our bones will not be able to sustain this compression forces. Hmm? So this is very important joint of our body. The cartilage lining, which is up to the 7 mm thick in young people, becomes thinner and less compressible with the age. So you can see this when the in the childhood it is having this cartilage up to 7 mm thick. 7 mm thick cartilage is present in young people, while it is becoming less and less and becoming thin and less compressible with the age. As you are increasing in the age, in the aged persons, you might have observed the knee joint pain, that is due to the less specific presence of this cartilages, and the thickness of this cartilage decreases, and the pressure bearing capacity of this cartilage decreases, and due to that the bones get uh, closer and getting friction, and this causes the pain to that region, and we are unable to walk or stand up properly. So this is very important to keep it in oiling. So this is leads to increasing stress on the other structures of the joints, and cartilage has no blood supply and receives its nourishment from the synovial fluid. So here you might see this characteristic is very important, that here there is no supply of the blood vessels. This cartilage have no supply of the blood vessels, but the synovial cavity has filled with the synovial fluid. This white color fluid is the synovial fluid. This synovial fluid is this synovial fluid is here. This is the synovial fluid filled in this cavity. This gives the nourishment to all the fibrous cartilage, hyaline cartilage material to get it nourishment and prevent the friction between the two bones. So this is very important thing that you have to note here. Then next is the next character is a capsule, a capsular ligament. This is the capsule. Here you can see this is the external capsule which keeps the joint in place and prevent the synovial cavity intact. This capsule, the joint is surrounded and enclosed by a sleeve of a fibrous tissue which holds the bone together. So this fibrous, sorry, fibrous tissue layer covers all the bones together and make our synovial cavity intact or keeps it away from the damage. It is sufficiently loose to allow freedom of movement but strong enough to protect it from injury. So capsule is sufficiently loose but having the strong nature to protect the synovial joint or the synovial cavity from the injury. The synovial membrane, the next characteristics of synovial joint is the synovial membrane. The synovial membrane, this is composed of epithelial cells and is found in the lining of the capsule then covering those parts of the bones with the joint and not covered by the articular cartilage, and the synovial membrane covering all the intracapsular structures that do not bear the weight. The synovial membrane has a capacity which have the, here you can see this synovial membrane, the blue color. This synovial membrane is blue color, and this membrane covers, lines the all the part capsule, then covering those parts which are not covered with the hyaline cartilage, and covering all the intracapsular structures that do not bear the weight. The next characteristic is the synovial fluid. This is very important. So this is thick sticky fluid of egg white consistency secreted by synovial membrane into the synovial cavity. So here you can see the synovial fluid which is present between this space in the capsule. So this synovial fluid have a egg white color, and that is secreted by the synovial membrane. This fluid is secreted by the synovial membrane cells into the synovial cavity, and nourishes the fibrocartilage which is present on the surfaces of the bones. So it provides the nutrients for the structures within the joint cavity. So what is the function of synovial fluid? It provides the nutrients to the structures of the synovial joints with cavity. Then it contains the phagocytes. Phagocytes are one of the non-specific type of defense system, and which remove the microbes and cellular debris. The synovial fluid act as a lubricant. So as we have discussed it, this fluid is acting as a lubricant between these joints. It provides the stability, joint stability. It prevents the ends of the bones from being separated. It provides the means due to the joint this nutrition and all these things, it prevents the ends of the bone from being separated, having friction, or do the little water between two glass surfaces. So it having a capacity to prevent it from the separation. So little sacs of synovial fluid or bursae are present in some joints. So in the knee, they act as a cushions to prevent friction between the bones and the ligament or tendon or skin where the bone is joined is near the surface. So as I told you that this fluid is acting as a friction or lubricant, so it prevents the friction between two bones. The next structures are in which are present inside the synovial capsule. Some joints have the structures within the capsule but outside the synovial membrane, so which assist in the maintenance and stability of that joint. Example, fat pads and the menisci in the knee joint. So the fat is also present in the knee joint. When these structures do not bear weight, they are covered by synovial membrane. Then extracorpuscular structures means outside the capsule, outside the synovial capsule. These are the ligaments that blend with the capsule, provide additional stability at the most joints, and the muscles or the tendons also provide stability and stretch across the joints they move. When the muscles contract, it shortens, pulling on one bone towards the other. So these are having the intracapsular structures and extracapsular structures. The next is the nerve and the blood supply. The nerve and blood supply causing the joint usually supply the capsule and the muscles that move. So this is the synovial joint and the joints.